自古以嚟，神秘事物不斷都衝擊住人類文明每一個角落，解釋唔到，卻又似有還冇嘅故事，永遠都引人入勝。究竟越嚟越多神秘現象嘅發生，代表住啲咩呢？今晚就等我哋一齊啟動神秘學研究檔案。好啦，歡迎收睇今日嘅 MJ13啊！呢一集咧係一個好特別，因為咧先前啦我病咗啦，爭大家一集啦，咁但係爭一集我一路喺度諗緊咩題目。咁今日咧就要多得 UFO 學會嘅 Moon 創辦人 Moon 方仲門小姐就帶埋呢位真係我要解釋俾大家聽，真係呢個係好重要，亦都可能係 MJ13咁耐以嚟最重要其中一位 guest， 所以而家個氣氛我哋係好緊張。咁就係Carrie Cassidy from 呢個 Project Camelot. Carrie, welcome to the show. Thank you. This is my very honor to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
This
much.
is for you are the most important guest I have so far in this program.
OK，
介紹少少先啦嚇，咁阿 Moon 姐真係大家都好認識啦，因為已經上個禮拜都介紹過啦，都嚟過啦。咁我略都講一講，譬如話 Carrie 個 background 咧，因為我相信有啲香港嘅聽眾朋友係好清楚 Carrie 係邊個，或者都係有睇呢個 Project Camelot 嘅。咁但係亦都有，我相信有啲聽眾朋友就係比較懶啲或者可能佢哋即係一大堆英文，可能佢哋有啲恐懼
比較忙啲，
咁樣。咁我好直接嘅，咁所以咧我都介紹一下啦。咁嗱 Carrie 就係 CEO 啦，同埋一個 co-founder 啦，呢個 Project Camelot 啦。咁就係喺一個網上高一個平台，就係做好介紹好多一啲嘅秘密嘅資料啦，或者一啲 disclosure 嘅資料啦。咁阿 Carrie 本身亦都係一個即係紀錄片嘅一個 filmmaker， 一個製作者，同埋佢亦都係一個調查員啦。咁佢亦都即係親身去做一啲深入嘅調查嘅一位嘅記者嚟啦。咁而且阿 Carrie 亦都世界各地周圍去，即係去見好多我哋叫做 whistleblower， 即係一啲嘅泄密者。咁嗰啲係好有即係深入嘅權限，例如有啲可能係軍人啦，亦都有啲係一啲嘅知道好多秘密資料啦，係嘛？
研究人專家啦。係
啦，咁就佢就親身，亦都嗰啲人亦都有啲好深入嘅 secret 嘅權限喺入邊，咁佢都見過班人啦。咁佢嘅節目亦都包含咗好多嘅資料，例如一啲嘅 cover 咗嘅我哋叫 conspiracy 啦，即係一啲嘅陰謀論啦，或者一啲嘅秘密嘅太空嘅行動啦，或者一啲 black project 啦，即係一啲我哋叫做咩啊？
絕密工程啊！
絕密工程或者黑暗計劃啦。咁亦都加入即係亦都研究好多或者睇好多嘅資料，就係一啲關於 free energy 啊。咁同埋咧，我哋最中意一啲同 UFO 同埋 ETs 有關嘅一啲嘅資料。咁佢係好深入，亦都係阿 Moon 講過係咪？接觸第一手資料啊！
我就稱佢為網上揭密者平台咧，佢係 No.1 㗎啦，冇人係有佢訪到咁多個 hour 咁多個揭密者。而今次我哋咧請佢嚟都用咗幾個月時間back and forth， 咁佢都經過澳洲嚟呢度，啱好仲有成個星期喺度，幾好。
Okay. So you like Hong Kong so far? You only arrived yesterday.
Last night.
Yes,
actually. It's very exciting. Beautiful city.
Oh, thank
you. I am enjoying seeing everything. We have a very good guide.
Cool. Yeah. 我哋呢度錄音室而家係好多人喺度。OK， 咁開始啦，我哋快脆開始嗰啲問題啦，好嘛？咁有啲問題就我會問，有啲問題係糖問，咁我哋都諗咗一大堆問題，希望可以喺呢一個鐘頭裏邊盡量問晒呢啲問題。
我哋盡量都簡單地用翻中文講一次嘅，
你唔使突然太詳細㗎，啲聽眾聽慣。
我而家做翻 translator 位，所以好嚴肅㗎。
Okay. So Gary, tell me, how do you start with this kind of work, like disclosure work?
Well, we have been in operation for 8.5 years.
Yes.
And I am an investigative journalist, documentary filmmaker.
Yes.
And I worked in Hollywood before that for about 20 years, working my way up the ladder. And I reached a glass ceiling, what we call a glass ceiling in America. And I was trying to produce my own sci-fi movies to tell the people through fiction what is really going on. And I couldn't get my movies made, and so I just decided to quit Hollywood and pick up a consumer-grade camcorder and start going around interviewing people speaking at conferences, UFO conferences, people that were ex-military and so on. So one of the people that I interviewed was my former partner, Bill Ryan, and he was a webmaster for Project.org, and so that was the beginning of Project Camelot. And I studied Eastern philosophy when I was young. I studied the I Ching, the Tarot, you name it in this way. And I also meditated and was interested in reaching enlightenment. So I did this on my own without any guru or yogi. And so I connected my chakras through meditation and had many samadhi experiences. I consider enlightenment is not a destination, it is a journey. So this also has helped support my work in Project Camelot. Because I had a spiritual background before I got into all of this investigation. But then when we started to do Project Camelot, we came together because he was a webmaster and a writer, and I was a filmmaker and a writer, and we both wanted disclosure. We both wanted the truth to come out about ETs, about the visitation on planet Earth, about the truth beyond the matrix, as we call it. And so we decided to use a camera, and I do what's called guerrilla filmmaking. So I put the camera in front of somebody for 2 hours or more, and I ask them direct questions, and we have a dialogue. And it was very successful from the beginning. It was a grassroots movement, if you will, worldwide. And we began to travel the entire world interviewing whistleblowers from above top secret. This is the area that I specialize in, whereas people like Julian Assange, he in WikiLeaks collects documentation. What we specialize in is whistleblower testimony, witness testimony. I believe that humans are the genetic library for our planet, and that the truth will always reside in the human beings as opposed to paper. Documents can be faked. And I always use the Obama birth certificate as an example. So this is what we specialize in. And like I say, these interviews, because we are face-to-face, the viewer can make up their own mind as to whether the person's telling the truth. And so this is how I work. And to this day, I'm continuing to do more and more investigation all the time.
Good.
Oh, such a long answer.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
It's okay. I got most of them.
We'll
Okay. 最主要 Carrie 咧係喺荷里活已經做咗20年㗎啦。咁都係主要係錄啲落 documentary 啦。咁但係呢個 project Camelot 咧已經係運行咗大概8年半㗎啦。咁喺荷里活嗰20年期間咧，咁阿 Carrie 就一路都越嚟越做咗專業啦。咁去到某時間咧，佢想自己拍一套科幻片㗎。咁但係喺荷里活就成事唔到，咁所以咧就毅然咧就決定咧就離開咗荷里活，咁就遇到佢一個之前嘅 partner 阿 Bill Ryan 啦，咁就大家志趣相投咧 ，Bill Ryan 咧係一個 Project Circle 嘅其中一位研究員啦，咁佢兩個相拍咗之後咧就決定咗去做一啲佢所謂嘅 consumer level 嘅一個，即係話係可以 去到世界各地去做一啲唔同嘅 interview 啦，去做一啲訪問啦，去尋找一啲真相，尋找一啲揭密者嘅資料出嚟俾大家知嘅。咁喺呢段時間咧，佢亦都年青嘅時候亦都係學過東方嘅哲學。咁佢自己都係一位非常之有靈性嘅修靈者嚟嘅。咁所以佢覺得成件事就順理成章，喺好多時候咧都方便咗佢做呢方面嘅 research 嘅資料搜集。咁去到今時今日咧，其實佢都用咗好多時間去有唔同嘅一啲 case 嘅一啲計劃啊，去攞好多資料翻嚟啦。咁去到依家佢相信嘅其實係好多嘢都係喺人嘅身體裏邊咧係可以尋找個答案嘅。
OK，
大概係咁啦。
大概係咁啦。
好盡量真係，
因為
係啦。
應該盡量聽到。
我唔知原來佢同阿 Ryan 係咁樣相遇，
係
原來訪佢喎。
係咯。
So how do you decide who to interview, or they just come to yourself?
Well, this is very complex. It's very different ways, okay? So, first of all, I have people send me emails, but normally a whistleblower, and we're talking about a whistleblower from above top secret, and this is an important distinction.
Yes.
So I will explain first the difference between below top secret and above top secret.
Right.
So whereas Edward Snowden and WikiLeaks deal with top secret and below, Camelot deals with whistleblowers from above top secret. Right. And that means that they work in black projects, they work with the secret government, secret space program, and many of them are retired military.
Right.
They are often, they could be agents of the CIA, NSA, NRO, one of the agencies. They can also be, working in foreign governments, working for, as, in hidden jobs, working, and they may still have their jobs. They may currently be employed.
Okay.
So they write to me very carefully, emails, and they try to see who I am. They test me a little bit. And sometimes they communicate with me secretly. They come up to me at conferences in person sometimes, and they just say a few words, and then we agree to meet somewhere else. And sometimes they will be a friend of a friend, and sometimes there have been referrals, by people sending us someone who says that they have heard our reputation, and so then they contact us.
OK， 卓飛個問題就係其實佢點樣去揾佢啲資料嘅來源嗰啲或者揭密者等等啦。咁啊 Carrie 話其實咧簡單嚟講咧，佢哋就會係揾一啲佢分咗兩個界定嘅，一個就係 above top secret， 一個係 below top secret。佢個例子就係譬如阿桑奇嗰啲咧，其實就係 below top secret， 即係話佢攞到啲資料咧係即係未必係佢哋知道嗰個擁有者咧，未必係嗰啲top secret 裏邊嘅人員嚟嘅。而 Project Camelot 咧最主要個佢哋嘅目標咧就係所有呢啲泄密者嘅資料咧都係一啲喺政府啦或者係一啲秘密政府裏邊都係一啲屬於 top secret 嘅嘢。咁所以佢哋嗰啲人咧就會包括係一啲可能係一啲退休嘅一啲軍事人員啦，又或者係前喺政府裏邊工作嘅人啦，甚至乎係一啲 CIA 或者 NSA 呢類組織嘅一啲佢哋叫 agent 啦，即係裏邊嘅工作嘅秘密嘅組織嘅人員，咁都會係佢哋可能會有啲係主動直接去 contact Project Camelot 啦，可能普通嘅一個 email 已經係去 contact 究竟呢個係咪一個好嘅平台俾佢哋去交呢啲資料出嚟咧？咁好多時候佢哋都會去測試究竟 Project Camelot 係咪真係佢哋心目中咁公正啊，或者點樣嘅？咁亦都會可能透過一啲秘密嘅會議啦，去傾啦，咁然之後去知道 Project Camelot 可信之後咧，佢哋先可以攞啲資料去揭密。
You mentioned some of the whistleblower they come to you by themselves. So how do you verify? Have you ever experienced someone try to discredit you, or someone try to give you some wrong information, like this information we all keep on mentioning?
Yes, it happens all the time.
Yes. It happens even in Hong Kong. Can you believe that? It's so remote area, but it even happens in Hong Kong.
Sure.
So
Well,
Very
we
few
have.
of us only.
Yes.
Yes,
True.
very few of us in Hong Kong only.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I can tell you that I had one whistleblower who contacted me and gave me some very good information. And he did it through a secret method that I'm not going to say here.
sure.
And he communicated with me text over one of, not Skype, but another kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I could tell that his information was very good.
Yeah.
And that he was, a good person, like in terms of being honest, telling me what he really thinks. He was working in an underground base in Texas for the secret space program, and he gave me information about Phobos, the moon of one of the moons of moon of Mars.
Right,
That's what is actually hollow, and it's a command and control center for the Anunnaki. Anyway, after he communicated with me and gave me information, then he disappeared. And another person, another day, came through on the same channel in the same way and tried to pretend that this was the same person. But I knew, I'm not sure how, by, say, you might say a sixth sense, but also because of the way he was communicating with me was suddenly different.
Yeah.
And
from the wordings and
yes,
the kind of attitude you can
style,
read from the wordings.
something about it was not right. And so then I didn't believe him. And pretty soon the conversation was over, and then he never bothered me again. But I know that that second time they were trying to trick me, that they had traced this communication that came the first time and sent me somebody else.
So you couldn't contact the first person anymore?
No, I had no way. It's only sometimes with whistleblowers, I never contact them at certain ones. They only come to me when they are ready. I had a Chinese whistleblower like this.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So the second person try to take over the first one.
Yeah.
And then those information you just keep it for yourself for study, but you never release.
No, if somebody gives me information,
Further.
I just say a source if I believe it to be good information,
Okay.
and I put it out. But I write about it on my blog.
Oh, I see.
It never goes on camera.
Okay.
Sometimes I will talk about it like this on a radio show or on my own radio show. I have had a radio show for 4 years, so
Sure. Of
Understood.
course.
哇！
called Whistleblower Radio.
呢個答案已經呆咗啦，我。卓飛問嘅問題係話，咁多 whistleblower 揾佢，咁點樣先可以證明佢哋嘅真偽咧？咁樣，咁阿 Carrie 講咗一個例子啊。
同埋我都問過，即係一個問題，即係有冇人嘗試過去俾一啲假嘅資料，或者係去 discredit 啊？即係呢個計劃所做緊嘅嘢咧。
咁Carrie 有個例子好精彩，佢話曾經有一個人用咗啲秘密嘅方式去同佢聯絡啦。咁佢冇講用啲咩方式啦，唔係你哋想象中嗰啲啦。
唔公開啦。
咁咧佢就俾咗少少資料，佢係關於一個喺德州 Texas 嘅一個 underground base， 即係一個地底嘅基地嘅工作嘅人員爆嘅料嚟嘅。咁個料咧就關於喺 Moon of Mars， 即係火星嘅一個衛星裏邊。其實嗰個衛星咧係空心嘅，裏邊咧係有個外星人基地。Anunnaki 嘅基地，咁喺對話當中咧，其實好快 Carrie 已經覺得嗰啲料係好堅好真㗎啦。咁但係喺對話途中咧，曾經突然之間咧就失咗蹤嘅呢個人。咁然之後第二日咧，有人用翻同一個 account 去同 Carrie 聯絡，繼續想俾料。但係喺佢呢段時間咧，阿 Carrie 就感覺到呢個人講啲嘢咧係有時你可能講啲語氣啦，或者用詞啊方面啦，係會感覺到係唔係同一個人嚟㗎。咁俾嘅資料亦都唔係同之前嗰啲，咁佢會相信係有人 take over 咗個 account 攞，即係騎劫咗嗰個戶口嚟同佢通訊，咁所以咧佢就唔再相信呢個資料嘅嘢，咁所以就冇，佢就會可能喺平時佢自己寫嘅 blog 啊，或者係啲類似呢啲訪問佢會提咯，但係佢就冇一個真正好 official 咁樣去界定呢件事成件事嘅資料，佢只會話係有線索提供過，咁所以呢個係其中一個例子，佢點樣去分辨咯？其實都好講佢一啲經驗啦，同埋一啲佢自己平時嘅一啲第六感可以叫做一啲 feeling， 究竟嚟緊嗰啲嘢究竟係真定假？
同埋佢再揾唔翻第一個人啦。
第一個人已經揾唔到啦，到而家
Have
都
you
冇。
ever been wanted by disclosing too much, or anyone trying to like phone tapping you or even follow you?
Oh, yes. This happens all the time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because,
it happens to all of us.
yes.
We think this is pretty normal, but for the audience, they think this is no, crazy. This is
Not even
amazing.
once, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, let's say that everyone knows about the disclosures from Edward Snowden.
Yes.
And this is, from the Camelot perspective, only the tip of the iceberg,
That's true.
as we call it,
Yes.
saying in America. So just a very little compared to a very lot
Yep.
that we actually have going on in our surveillance society as we know it at this time.
Yep.
So we have a whistleblower that came to Camelot, actually a few of them, over 7 or 8 years ago, who told us about all the things that Snowden is telling the public now. They were telling us, and we were publishing on Camelot
Right.
over 8 years ago. But we have more detailed information. So Jake Simpson is one of our witnesses who never went on camera.
Right.
He never went on the radio because he's still in secret. But we have a written transcript interview with him, and he is talking about basically surveillance, which is artificial intelligence. And it goes beyond even satellites, but satellites are used, but still even more than satellites. So, so there's a great deal more going on in that regard. But in terms of my own, sort of safety, I have had death threats. When I did my Pete Peterson interview, I got a death threat over my segment of the interview.
No.
That interview is 6 hours long.
Right.
And David Wilcock interviewed him part of the time.
Wilcock,
Bill Ryan, my ex-partner,
Right.
also interviewed him, and then my segment. And I was the only one that got the death threat because I asked him questions that pushed the envelope and revealing some secret information that he didn't, and they didn't want out there, the Pentagon didn't want out there. All about basically the Terminator scenario, the Terminator movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Skynet,
Famous.
there is this artificial intelligence called
Right.
Skynet, that this is true. This is all
Okay.
true. And that we are actually living in this kind of a reality at this time and don't know it. And that we have robots. We have, in fact, it is said that the Chinese have in underground bases in China
Right.
many android robots that look very human, and so do the U.S., another group
Right,
of
right.
robots, and that these are all commanded by a central artificial intelligence such as Skynet.
Okay.
OK，我想卓飛個問題就係話，有冇試過俾人法國人監聽啊，甚至乎對佢不利啊，
warn 佢。
warn 佢、恐嚇佢啊等等。咁好快答案就係有嘅。咁首先就係講就係話，其實大家都知道美國嘅監密嘅計劃啦。Edward Snowden 之前講過爆嗰啲咧。In fact 其實Project Camelot 喺大概7至8年前咧已經有 whistleblower 俾咗啲資料佢㗎啦。咁當時已經大報導過關於呢啲嘅咁複雜嘅監視監聽嘅系統㗎啦。佢個用詞就係話其實而家我哋所知嘅都係冰山一角嘅啫。咁大家都知嘅呢樣嘢。咁佢話咁好啦，講到佢自己有冇真係收過一啲恐嚇等等咧？佢話有嘅，曾經有個 interview 咧，大家可能上去網度去睇睇啦，就係之前有位叫 Jake Simpson 嘅一位俾料佢嘅人咧，就講關於一啲 satellite 啊，即係一啲衛星監控嘅資料啦。另外亦都會有一位一個 interview 佢係叫 Peterson 嘅，咁喺嗰個訪問當中咧，其實有3位唔同嘅訪問嘅人去訪問呢位 Peterson 嘅，咁Carrie 其中一個啦，咁佢係唯一一個收到一個死亡嘅恐嚇嘅，咁喺個訪問當中其實爆咗好多關於一啲我哋叫做未來戰士係嘛？Terminator 裏邊講嘅嘢 ，Skynet 講嘅嘢啦，一啲 AI 或者一啲 一啲機械人嘅一啲計劃咧，其實係進行緊嘅，包括美國同埋中國嘅一啲地底嘅設施都有好多機械人喺裏邊。咁喺當時佢就收過一個死亡恐嚇，因為佢喺3個訪問者當中咧，係唯一一個咧係比較即係直言啲、敢言啲去問，去嘗試去吐多啲料出嚟。咁所以之後佢係俾人叫佢 shut up 嘅，即係死亡恐嚇嘅。
同埋我覺得最爆嘅位，佢話就算美國同中國地底嗰啲機械人咧，都係有一個中央嘅控制，即係唔係呢兩個國家嘅嘢。
係咯，係咯。
Which one is the most shocking interview you have so far? I mean that after you interview, you think this is the most amazing interview you have so far. Can you name one of them?
Oh,
Tricky.
Sorry?
Tricky question.
最近嘅採訪啊。
This is not so easy to say because I have so many wonderful whistleblowers over the years, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So I would say some very special ones. Even recently, most recently, Captain Mark Richards of the Secret Space Program.
Yeah.
I am interviewing him in prison.
Yeah.
I have now done 3 interviews with him. I think that he is the most knowledgeable, I would say, of all the whistleblowers. And some of them come very close, have knowledge in different areas. Because he was a captain in the space, secret space program, this makes his knowledge quite exceptional.
Yeah. I watched them all, including the transcripts.
Yeah.
So
He's the
I know
one
what to
sent
say.
to prison by charging as murder, but he didn't actually do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
係啦，卓飛問有咁多個訪問過嘅，邊個係最特別啦？咁Carrie話其實好多個都好精彩嘅。咁可以呢一個比較特別嘅就係近期佢interview 咗一位叫 Mark Richards 嘅一位人士啦。咁佢而家咧其實喺美國係坐緊監嘅，因為咧佢就係犯咗殺人罪嘅。咁但係佢哋相信咧，其實佢就係俾人屈嘅。咁因為咧，其實佢又爆咗一料係佢自己咧就係一個秘密嘅太空計劃裏邊嘅一個人員嚟嘅。咁個 interview 咧其實喺 Project Camelot 裏邊個 website 有嘅，係 total interview 咗3次，有晒成個 transcript， 即係話有晒英文嘅一啲成個口供喺度，我係睇晒嘅，我都覺得係好正嘅，好多嘢都睇。係啊，呢個係好精彩嘅 interview。It's very incredible interview.
Yeah.
It's true.
After all these years, we always talk about the false flag, or especially false flag invasion. And we got news about the UFO war at the ocean like a couple of years ago, right? From I think his name's John Kettler or somebody like that.
Yes.
So what is your view in the false flag actually?
Well, there's a lot of things going on with regard to the false flag. For example, one of the things that has been coming to the fore lately has been to do with the Aurora, Colorado incident in the United States that had to do with a battle. What I have found out was a battle between the 2 artificial intelligence. And we have now several artificial intelligence, the basis being what's called Promise software. And that's it's now evaluating. It started out as a legal software, then it was bought by it was taken over by the United States government, and then what happened was there's a man named Michael Riconosciuto who created a backdoor in the software, and it also went out to police departments, all kinds of law enforcement, the intelligence agencies. Then the Mossad got involved. They sold it to various countries. Now it's become worldwide in terms of software, but it's also it's a profiling software, so it's gathering intelligence about each and every human being on the planet, and all of this information is being stored in these huge computers in different places in the world, but also in the NSA facility in Utah, and so this is kind of the biggest threat that we're having right now on the planet, I would say. But in terms of a false flag, the reason I brought this up is because this seems to be the fall of the financial system seems to be wrapped into false flags that happen. And I'm also told that the Boston bombing was a false flag.
Right.
These are also what we call sort of Illuminati wars between various sides of the Illuminati that are disagreeing with each other. And it also has fallout within the banking system. And certainly China and Hong Kong are involved. It affects these all countries. And so a lot of false flags are used to steer the people into a certain way of thinking and behaving, and to make them more malleable to the kinds of laws like the Patriot Act that they want to put into place that will take away their rights of human beings around the planet. And so to put the New World Order in motion.
Exactly.
So that's what false flags are all about. But false flags were also going on during Pearl Harbor is now known to be a false flag to start wars.
Yes.
And it's very possible that there will be another false flag, maybe even sometime soon, if they want to get something off the ground in Syria or with regard to Iran or something of that nature.
Okay.
又係呆晒聽到。
Every
Oh, I'm
answer,
sorry.
every answer you make the answer and Tong feels so soft and
It's so
I'm very
so
sorry.
No, 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 no,
嗱，
no,
好
no,
快
no,
脆，
sorry
好快脆解釋埋，跟住我哋 take 個 break 好嘛？
嗱，問緊係關於一啲 false flag 嘅嘢，咁啊 Kerry 就話首先咧，其實而家或者一路都進行緊㗎啦。其中一個 project 佢想 mention 嘅就係話喺美國 Colorado 嘅一個關於 AI 嘅一啲software development。咁因為有位叫 Michael 應該係可能日本人嚟嘅，個姓係應該係日本姓。咁佢就係研發咗一啲我哋叫 profiling 嘅 software， 即係話將人嘅一啲behaviour 啊或者行為啊嗰啲咧就會記錄，然之後去將個 AI 去更加近似人㗎嘛。咁呢個 software 已經係俾美國政府 take over 咗㗎啦，買咗㗎啦。咁佢只係提咗呢一個其中嘅呢個project 咧，就係話其實政府已經用緊好多呢啲設施去做一啲 AI 嘅一啲 wars 啦。其中有提過就係話其實好多嘢發生過或者發生緊嘅都係一啲 false flag 嚟嘅。佢 mention 咗幾個啦，譬如而家我哋講緊嘅一啲我哋嘅經濟體系嘅 crackdown 咧嘅冧市啦咁樣，又或者之前講嘅波士頓嘅爆炸案啦，又或者係甚至乎佢講到Pearl Harbor 即係珍珠港嘅都會係好多證據資料顯示其實係特登做出嚟嘅一啲假象嘅一啲戰爭，令到有藉口去發動一啲更加大型嘅戰爭啦。咁所以佢好相信咧，其實會一路都會有呢啲類似嘅嘢，譬如會喺敍利亞或者係甚至乎伊拉克嗰邊啊、伊朗啊嗰啲都會有類似呢啲咁嘅 false flag 嘅嘢，去令到個世界係向住一個方向走，令到佢哋可以有到佢哋自己想要嘅目標咯。啲關鍵字我唔講啦，你想講你就講。
就係個 New World Order 啦。
本姐講咗，呢個其中一個係啦。
OK， 我哋 take 個 break， 跟住轉頭翻嚟繼續第二節嘅